If you're over 60 and you think eating fish automatically means you're eating healthy, this might completely change the way you look at your next meal. Because some of the most commonly recommended fish in grocery stores and restaurants may actually be working against your brain, your heart, and even your memory without you realizing it. And the most dangerous part, the damage happens slowly and silently. No warning signs, no immediate symptoms, just gradual inflammation, toxin buildup, and long-term stress on the body that many people mistake for normal aging. But here's the good news. Not all fish are bad. In fact, the right kinds of fish can support brain function, protect your heart, reduce inflammation, and help you stay active and sharp as you get older. The problem is that most people have never been told which fish are truly helping them and which ones may be quietly causing harm. Today, we're breaking it all down. First, we'll uncover 4 fish older adults should seriously limit or avoid because of concerns linked to heavy metals, contaminants, and inflammatory effects. Then we'll move into the 5 healthiest fish choices that are packed with nutrients your body actually needs after 60. Some of the fish on today's list may surprise you, especially the one many people eat every single week thinking it's one of the healthiest options available. Before we get into the list, let us know in the comments where you're watching from and what fish you eat most often. And now let's begin with the first fish that deserves a closer look, swordfish. Swordfish has built a reputation as a premium seafood choice. It's often featured in upscale restaurants, healthy meal plans, and high-protein diets. Many people see it as a clean and nutritious alternative to red meat. But for older adults, swordfish may come with risks that are rarely talked about openly. The biggest concern is mercury. Swordfish is a large predatory fish that spends years feeding on smaller fish in the ocean, and over time it accumulates high levels of methylmercury in its tissues. By the time it reaches your plate, that buildup can be significant. Health agencies have repeatedly advised limiting or avoiding high mercury fish, especially for older adults because mercury can affect the nervous system and place additional stress on the brain and cardiovascular system. And as we age, the body becomes less efficient at clearing toxins. That means repeated exposure, even in moderate amounts, may become more problematic over time. Some people notice issues like brain fog, reduced focus, fatigue, or changes in coordination without ever connecting them to diet. Others may simply assume it's part of getting older, but nutrition researchers continue to study how long-term exposure to certain contaminants may influence cognitive and cardiovascular health later in life. Swordfish also tends to be consumed in large portions because of its steak-like texture, which can increase exposure even further. That doesn't mean one meal will suddenly cause harm, but making it a regular habit may not be the smartest choice for someone trying to protect long-term brain and heart health. And surprisingly, the next fish on our list is something millions of people keep in their pantry right now, believing it's one of the healthiest and most convenient proteins money can buy. For decades, tuna has been marketed as the ultimate healthy convenience food. It's high in protein, easy to prepare, affordable, and found in everything from sandwiches to salads to quick lunches. Many older adults eat it several times a week thinking they're making a smart choice for their heart and overall health. But there's another side to the story that deserves attention. Larger tuna species, especially albacore and big eye tuna, can contain elevated levels of mercury because they sit high on the ocean food chain and live long enough to accumulate contaminants over time. And unlike some toxins that quickly leave the body, mercury can gradually build up with repeated exposure. For younger people, occasional consumption may not be a major issue. But for older adults, whose nervous systems and detoxification processes may already be under more strain, regular intake of high mercury fish becomes more concerning. Researchers have explored links between long-term mercury exposure and changes in cognitive performance, memory, mood, and cardiovascular function. What makes tuna tricky is that many people don't realize there are major differences between types. Light tuna generally contains less mercury than albacore, but portion size and frequency still matter. The problem is that tuna often becomes a daily habit because it's fast, cheap, and familiar. One sandwich turns into 3 or 4 servings every week without much thought, and over time, that repeated exposure adds up. If you still enjoy tuna occasionally, moderation becomes the key. Choosing lower mercury varieties less frequently may be a safer approach. But there's another fish that flies under the radar almost completely, one that many people have never even heard of, despite being listed among the highest mercury fish available in some regions. And that fish is tilefish. Tilefish is one of the least recognized names on this list, and that may be exactly why it catches so many people off guard. Unlike swordfish or tuna, tilefish rarely gets discussed in everyday health conversations, Yet certain varieties have been flagged for containing extremely high mercury levels. Many people don't even realize they've eaten it because it can appear under generic seafood labels or mixed into restaurant dishes without much explanation. Tilefish are deep water fish that live for many years, giving them plenty of time to accumulate contaminants from their environment. And because their flavor is mild and their texture is soft and flaky, they're often mistaken for safer white fish like cod or pollock. That confusion can make it difficult for consumers to know what they're actually eating. For older adults trying to protect memory, balance, and cardiovascular health, this becomes important. Researchers continue to examine how long-term exposure to heavy metals may affect processing speed, cognitive performance, and neurological health as people age. The challenge is that these changes can happen gradually. A person may experience occasional forgetfulness, slower reaction time, or fatigue and never suspect that dietary habits could be playing a role. Another issue is frequency. Even if someone only eats high mercury fish once in a while, combining several different sources over the course of a month can quietly increase overall exposure. That's why paying attention to seafood choices matters more than many people realize. When dining out or buying seafood from a market, it's always worth asking exactly what type of fish is being served. And now we come to the fish that may shock the most people on this entire list because it's often advertised as one of the healthiest, budget-friendly proteins available: farm-raised tilapia. Tilapia is everywhere. It's inexpensive, easy to cook, mild in flavor, and commonly promoted as a healthy alternative to processed meats or fried foods. For many families, it has become a weekly staple, but not all tilapia is the same, and the way some farm-raised tilapia is produced has raised serious concerns among nutrition experts and environmental researchers alike. In large-scale fish farming operations, tilapia are often raised in crowded environments where water quality can quickly deteriorate. To control disease and maintain production, some farms rely heavily on antibiotics and chemical treatments. While regulations vary by country and supplier, concerns remain about farming practices and the long-term quality of the final product. But that's only part of the issue. Another major concern is the nutritional profile of some farm tilapia. Compared to fish naturally rich in omega-3 fatty acids, certain farm-raised tilapia may contain a much higher ratio of omega-6 fats. In excess, omega-6 heavy diets have been associated with increased inflammatory activity in the body, especially when omega-3 intake is low. And chronic inflammation is something many older adults are already battling through conditions related to joints, circulation, metabolism, and overall aging. The feed used in some farming systems can also influence the nutritional quality of the fish itself. That's why experts often recommend paying attention not just to the type of fish, but also where it comes from and how it was raised. Now, this doesn't mean every piece of tilapia is automatically harmful, but it does mean consumers should be more selective and informed. The encouraging news is that there are far better seafood options available that offer high-quality protein, healthy fats, and a cleaner nutritional profile. And that brings us to the first fish on our best choices list, a fish many people have never tried, but one that deserves far more attention: Arctic char. Arctic char may not be as famous as salmon, but many nutrition experts consider it one of the most underrated fish for healthy aging. It belongs to the same family as salmon and trout, which means it naturally contains many of the nutrients older adults need most, including high-quality protein, vitamin B12, vitamin D, selenium, and omega-3 fatty acids that support brain and heart health. What makes Arctic char especially appealing is its balance. It delivers many of the benefits people look for in salmon while typically containing lower levels of contaminants because it's often raised in cold, carefully controlled freshwater environments. For older adults trying to increase seafood intake without worrying about excessive mercury exposure, that cleaner profile becomes a major advantage. Arctic char also has a milder flavor than salmon, which makes it easier for people who dislike overly fishy tastes. Its texture is rich but not heavy, and it works beautifully baked with herbs, lemon, olive oil, or simple roasted vegetables. But beyond taste, the real value is in what it may support inside the body. Omega-3 fatty acids are widely studied for their role in maintaining cardiovascular health, supporting circulation, and helping regulate inflammatory processes linked to aging. Combined with protein that helps maintain muscle mass and nutrients that support nerve and bone health, Arctic char becomes a strong, all-around choice for older adults looking to build healthier meals. And unlike some trendy health foods that are difficult to prepare or expensive to maintain long-term, Arctic char can fit naturally into a realistic weekly routine. But while Arctic char is an underrated powerhouse, The next fish on our list might be even more impressive because it's affordable, shelf-stable, incredibly nutrient-dense, and sitting in grocery stores almost everywhere. We're talking about sardines. At first glance, sardines don't look very impressive. They come in small cans, they're often overlooked, and many people associate them with old-fashioned pantry food. But nutritionally, sardines are one of the most powerful seafood choices older adults can make. These tiny fish are loaded with omega-3 fatty acids, and because they sit low on the food chain and live short lives, they contain far lower mercury levels than many larger fish. That combination alone makes them stand out. Omega-3s play an important role in supporting heart health, circulation, joint comfort, and brain function, all areas that become increasingly important with age. Many researchers believe that diets rich in omega-3s may help support healthy aging by helping the body manage chronic inflammation more effectively. Sardines also provide something many older adults struggle to get enough of naturally, vitamin D and calcium. Since sardines are often eaten with their soft edible bones, they become an excellent source of bone-supporting nutrients that help maintain strength and mobility over time. They're also packed with protein, which matters far more after 60 than many people realize. Maintaining muscle mass becomes critical for balance, energy, metabolism, and preserving independence later in life. Another major advantage is convenience. Sardines are affordable, shelf-stable, and easy to incorporate into meals. Some people eat them on whole grain toast with avocado, others add them to salads, pasta, or rice bowls. And unlike heavily processed convenience foods, sardines deliver real nutritional density without requiring complicated preparation. The key is finding high-quality brands packed in olive oil or water with simple ingredients. But if you think sardines are impressive, the next fish may surprise you even more because it offers many of the same benefits people seek from salmon while maintaining an exceptionally clean safety profile. That fish is rainbow trout. Rainbow trout quietly deserves far more recognition than it gets. While salmon usually dominates conversations about healthy fish, rainbow trout offers many of the same nutritional advantages while often providing an even cleaner and more accessible option for older adults. One of its biggest strengths is balance. Rainbow trout delivers an excellent source of omega-3 fatty acids along with high-quality protein, selenium, potassium, and several important B vitamins that help support energy production, nerve function, and cardiovascular health. But what truly makes it stand out is its safety profile. In the United States and several other regulated regions, farm-raised rainbow trout is typically produced in carefully monitored freshwater systems with stricter oversight than many large commercial seafood operations. That means lower concerns about mercury and environmental contaminants compared to larger ocean predators. For older adults trying to protect brain and heart health long-term, that cleaner profile matters. Rainbow trout is also incredibly versatile in the kitchen. Its flavor is mild, slightly nutty, and much less intense than some oily fish, making it easier for people who struggle with stronger seafood flavors. It can be grilled, baked, pan-seared, or cooked with herbs and lemon for a simple anti-inflammatory meal that feels satisfying without being heavy. Another overlooked benefit is digestibility. Some older adults find richer meats or heavily processed foods difficult to tolerate, while rainbow trout provides protein in a lighter, easier-to-digest form. And because consistency matters more than perfection when building healthier habits, choosing foods you actually enjoy becomes incredibly important. A healthy food only works if it becomes part of your real routine. But now we move to a fish that is one of the leanest, cleanest, and most underrated protein sources available for aging adults, especially for those focused on maintaining strength and energy. That fish is wild-caught Pacific cod. Wild-caught Pacific cod may not receive the same attention as salmon or tuna, but for older adults focused on healthy aging, it deserves a spot near the top of the list. Cod is naturally lean, high in protein, and remarkably versatile, making it one of the easiest fish to include in a balanced weekly diet. A single serving provides a substantial amount of complete protein while remaining relatively low in calories and saturated fat. And after 60, protein becomes essential not just for muscle maintenance, but also for mobility, recovery, balance, and overall independence. One of cod's greatest strengths is that it delivers nutrition without heaviness. Many older adults are trying to reduce processed foods or fatty meats while still getting enough high-quality protein, and cod fits that need extremely well. It's also rich in selenium and vitamin B12, two nutrients that play important roles in energy metabolism, immune support, and nervous system function. Vitamin B12 becomes especially important with age because absorption often decreases over time, and low levels may contribute to fatigue, weakness, or memory-related concerns. Pacific cod also benefits from living in colder northern waters and having a shorter lifespan than large predatory fish, which generally means lower mercury accumulation. Its mild flavor makes it appealing even for people who normally avoid seafood, and it adapts easily to different cooking styles, from baked dishes to soups, tacos, or simple herb-seasoned fillets. But while cod is an excellent option, there's one final fish that may be the most underrated seafood choice of all. It's affordable, widely available, low in mercury, high in protein, and quietly one of the safest fish older adults can eat regularly. And surprisingly, many people have eaten it for years without realizing how beneficial it actually is. That fish is pollock. Pollock may not sound exciting, but when it comes to smart seafood choices for healthy aging, it's one of the strongest options available. Wild-caught Alaskan pollock is naturally low in mercury, high in protein, and widely recognized as one of the cleaner, large-scale commercial fish on the market. Because pollock grows quickly and lives a shorter life than larger predatory fish, it has far less time to accumulate heavy metals and environmental contaminants. That makes it a far safer long-term choice for older adults who want the benefits of seafood without the same level of toxic exposure concerns linked to fish higher on the food chain. Pollock is also surprisingly versatile. Many people have eaten it before in fish sandwiches, fish sticks, or imitation crab products, but in its whole, minimally processed form, it becomes an entirely different nutritional experience. It offers lean, high-quality protein that supports muscle maintenance and recovery while remaining light and easy to digest. It also contains important nutrients like selenium, B vitamins, and omega-3 fatty acids that support brain and cardiovascular health. And perhaps most importantly, pollock is realistic. It's affordable, accessible, and easy to prepare consistently, which matters far more than chasing expensive superfoods you'll never actually eat regularly. The truth is, healthy aging is often shaped by small, repeated choices over time. Choosing lower mercury fish with strong nutritional value may help support long-term brain function, heart health, mobility, and energy as the years go on. You don't have to completely change your diet overnight. Even replacing 1 or 2 meals each week with cleaner, nutrient-rich seafood can make a meaningful difference over time. So now we want to hear from you. Which fish on this list surprised you the most? And which one would you actually add to your weekly meals? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who would find it helpful too.